Let's go John, Will, Ron to start us off.
Just wanted to get your thoughts on kind of the repetitious behavior of JL Skinner with some of these targeting penalties. Obviously, you guys got to do something about this, Coach. I'm sure you have been, but where are you guys right now with this process?
No, you're right, John. We obviously got to do a better job emphasizing it with all our players. I mean, it's shown up a lot this year. And for us, we talked about it a lot on Sunday, and just going back to how we teach tackling, reemphasizing the strike zone again, especially with our taller players, just having them, they got to even get lower. And so we're going to get them on some tackling donuts, get them low to make sure that they're going right through the thigh board, so we don't get into this situation again. Not only that we don't lose one of our better players in a big game, but also so we can keep the integrity of tackling and what we need to get this thing done. So you're 100% right. We need to do a better job coaching it and emphasizing it in practice, so we don't doesn't continue to show up.
Is this red zone, talk about repetitious behavior. You guys in the red zone are fantastic. What would you point out the couple key factors, Coach, as to why, for whatever the reasons are, when teams get in the red zone on you, they're typically not scoring touchdowns?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things, I think, John. Obviously our kids, first and foremost, they stay in the fight, and you can see it from practice to how it's emphasized. Our mentality when we get down there, we talk about it being 3 or nothing. Like they're not crossing the goal line. We will be 3 or nothing in the red zone, and that's what we preach. That's what we practice. And our guys, obviously it shows in how they can keep those stands and get off the field and hold teams to field goals. But I think, that's first and foremost, and then just how we rep it in practice, how we break it down, how we look at it as a staff, how we put our guys in the situations where they know the calls they're going to see down there and can play fast with them. And our guys have done a really good job. I mean, they've made plays and they need to make plays. And that's really where it stems from. But I think it's holistic. And, Coach Avalos with the practice plans does a good job making sure we always get a lot of good red zone work. We got to be good down there, because it's the difference between winning and losing football games if those are touchdowns and not field goals. And so our guys understand that now. Obviously, the biggest thing that we're always getting to is now let's not get down there so much. We don't got to continue to play with our backs against the wall.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, John.
Hey, Spence, what did you think of your run defense's performance on Saturday?
I thought it was much improved. I'm very, very proud of the work our coaches put in, from all the way from the front to the secondary. I mean, it was much improved. There's still some stuff to clean up, no doubt, but much improved. It's definitely getting closer to where we want it to be. Our guys were physical at the line of scrimmage. Our secondary linebackers fit fast. It was great to see. The biggest thing we need to clean up is just the QB draws and some of the QB scrambles. Because you look at it, I mean, the running back, I think, only rushed for 40 yards, which he's rushed for a lot more, obviously, prior to playing us. But that's what we got to do week in, week out. I mean, that's where our defense is built on, to stopping the run. It was cool to see our guys do that on Saturday and take a big step. And now we just got to keep growing it in all areas. But no, I was fired up to see our guys, with the work they put in, with what our coaches have done, see it show up in a big way on Saturday.
You put on the film of Jake Haener. What stands out to you about him?
I think the world of Jake Haener. I remember him coming out of high school. I remember when he went to Washington, and knowing guys that know him. I mean, I think first and foremost, he is a competitor. He is a leader. Guys that have been around him, he's just one of those those guys that just can really galvanize a group and get them going in the right direction. I mean, he's what you want at quarterback. I mean, he can make all the throws. He's savvy. He is tough. He'll take hits, get back up, and keep on rolling. I think the world of him. I think he's one of the best we've seen this entire season, and we've seen a lot of good ones. And I think he's up there at the very high. I mean, I think the world of Jake Haener. I think the offense runs through him, and the coaching staff there has done a great job. Obviously, he understands the offense completely and can run the show. And we have our work cut out with him. I think number 9 is a hell of a player.
Hey, Spence.
Thanks, Will.
What's up, Spence? Sticking with Fresno State, with guys like Ronnie Rivers in the back field and Jalen Copper out wide, what stands out about their offense?
Yeah, I think they're a very explosive offense. They've got really good skill players. I mean, from the running backs to the receivers, they got good tight ends. And we just talked about Haener, the quarterback, that obviously he's the glue that makes it all work. And they do a good job being balanced. I mean, you can see a lot of their games. I mean, they're averaging, I think, over 130 yards rushing a game and over 300 yards passing. And and it complements each other very well. You know, they got really good run game, and then off of it, you're getting the shots out of it, but they've got the quarterback and the receivers just to go up and win those one-on-ones too, where they've got the schemes, but they've also got the athletes to get it done. And they do a good job being on the attack. I think, you know, that you can, watching their games, you can see a lot of defenses reeling because of the speed that's coming at them and some of the schematics that they're being attacked with. And so, I mean, across the board, it's going to be a great test for our defense because they've got a good old line. They've got really good skill positions. Like I said, with a quarterback like Haener that can make the whole thing run, it shows with the production they've put up, especially against some really good defenses.
And, you know, Riley Wimpy has been a guy that's been really consistent around here for many years. He led you guys in tackles 2 years in a row, but he just doesn't seem like himself this year, you know, whether it's missed tackles or maybe even missing an assignment. You know, he just seems like he's a step slower this year than he has been in past years. You know, it doesn't seem like you guys are doing much different schematically on defense. Is there an injury there we don't know about? I mean, just what's changed for him in your opinion this season?
No, not at all. I mean, Riley's been doing a really good job. I mean, he's had to play a lot. And he's done a really good job. He gets a lot of snaps in games. I got to do a better job getting him some breathers throughout the games. But there's just plays that he's missed that he knows he can make, and he makes a lot of plays that I think go unnoticed. Just if you're watching the game live, you know what I mean. And he's going to continue to grow and get better. And we ask a lot of those guys. And he is not only one of the top leaders of our defense, he's one of the top leaders on our team. And so he's going to continue to grow just like all our other players. And he's going to continue to grow on the things that he needs to and make the plays that when they come to him.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Ron.
So BJ, Jay, and Mike.
Hey, Spencer.
What's up, BJ? Like the hair.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Wish my wife did. What with the second half, I think 5 of the 8 games, you guys haven't even given up a touchdown in the second half, and just the adjustments you guys are making at halftime. You only have, 15, 20 minutes at halftime. What's that process like for those of us that aren't in the locker room, in terms of what you can actually do at halftime, and why are you guys, really locking down on defense in the second half?
Yeah, the process of it, usually depending how the game, whatever the time is on the clock, getting close to halftime, we're talking on the headsets with me up in the box, with the coaches on the field, kind of getting a plan for what we need to hit in the locker room. And then when we get in the locker room, we'll get together as a defensive staff with Coach Avalos and just kind of talk through, how we're being attacked, what things they like against us, maybe some things that they're going to come back to. And then it's simplifying it for our guys and telling them, hey, these are maybe some quick adjustments. These are some front tweaks or some coverage adjustments that we're going to get to. And these are some things we got to improve on from our eye control, from our fundamentals and techniques, and just kind of paint the picture for them when they get out there in the second half of this is what we got to get done. This is where we got to be better. And this is what you're going to see. But I think a lot of it, goes to our players, just staying in the fight. When something doesn't go well, learning from it, seeing, okay, this is how I got to play this technique or this call better. So then when a team does come back to it, like teams will, they can play that route, that run play better. And it showed up. And obviously the big thing for us now is starting fast to where we don't get ourselves in those situations. But I am very proud of our guys and how they've battled and learned from the mistakes early in games and done a good job going forward.
I think somebody asked you about Tyreek Jones a couple weeks ago, but you had 10 tackles the other night, and you look at the injuries you have at corner, and Skinner's been out a couple times now with targeting, but Jones has kind of become that steady guy for you guys back there. How big has his play been this year for your defense?
Oh, BJ's been very big, and that's a great question. I mean, Tyreek Jones has grown so much, just not even on the football field, starting just with how he operates his life and the leader he is in the locker room, the leader he is for our team. Even just being around him, we always got a great attitude in the morning. He impacts our environment in a positive way every single day he comes here. And it's just been cool to see his growth. And just like all of our players and coaches included, there's still things that he can grow in and needs to. But it has been very cool to see his steps this season. And he's been a huge, him and Kekala have really been the ones that have been those steadies there with, like you said, JL being out for a couple of halves of targeting and some of the injuries we have. Those two guys have done a great job really being those pillars back there, running the communication, running the air traffic control. And it showed. And I think Tyreek Jones is only going to get better.
Thanks, Spencer.
Thanks, BJ.
Spence, what up?
What up, Jay?
Spencer, if you look at your guys' red zone defense in your wins, it is remarkable. I mean, I think in the combined wins you've allowed 15 red zone possessions and 2 touchdowns. I mean, have you ever been a part of a group that's been that good once they get their, get down inside the 20 with their backs against the wall? And what is the reason for their resiliency in there?
No, I mean, I haven't. And like I said, first off, hats off to our guys and our staff just for how we've broken it down and how, really showed our guys the main things you're going to get down there. But a lot of it, I think, just comes down to our guys making the plays when they come to them and understanding that it's a never say die attitude. Like I said, our mentality down there is 3 or nothing. And our guys have done a great job buckling down when our back's against the wall and making a team, kick field goals. And then we're going to try and go block them, and living in that to where if it's on the inch line to the 1 yard to wherever they're at, we always got a chance. We stay in the fight. And that's something Coach Avalos always preaches with our entire team is you stay in the fight no matter what. And it's cool to see that show up in the red zone. And our guys done a great job. And it's something we're going to continue to preach and continue to hopefully take steps in because it's a huge difference maker in regards to winning football games. Is if you make a team settle for field goals, it's going to be tough. And so our guys have done a great job with it. Now we just got to continue to get to situations where we don't get down there so often like we had early in games. But I told our defense when I met with them earlier today that I'm not going to take anything away from them and how proud I am of them staying in the fight. New set of downs, no matter where they're at, we always got a chance, and it showed up.
Last game, you lost JL Skinner due to another targeting call. And I mean, when you look at JL, he's this 6'4", 220-pound guy that looks like you could put him in the NFL tomorrow. And you replace him with a guy that walked on to the team. Mm-hmm. What is your reaction, or what are your interactions with Alex Tubner like, and why is he always ready for the moment?
Well, it speaks volumes as to who he is as a person, and Tubes, everybody calls him Tubes. He is just what you want in a Boise State football player. He comes to work every day, doesn't know if he's going to play a snap or if he's going to play 50, depending how a game goes, but he's ready, he preps, and the coach has done a great job getting him ready for those games. And he's obviously had to show up big in the BYU game and obviously this past weekend against Colorado State. And it shows just how he's prepped to get himself to that point. And I think it's a testament to a lot of guys on our team with how the season's been with some of the injuries and guys not being able to play and guys having to fill in, that you better be ready because your number is going to get called at any time. And we don't know when. It could be before the game, could be in the game, but keeping our guys locked in no matter where they're at in the depth chart. If you're a freshman or if you're an older guy, be ready to go because that's just the name of the game. And it's been cool to see Tubes do that and be ready to go. And he gets in the game and his helmet's ready to roll. He's buckled up and he's out there and we're rolling and we don't change anything. And we go to work. And so it's been cool to see him prep to step in those roles. And like I said, he's a great kid to be around, always has a smile on his face, works his tail off at practice, a great special teams player. And we love having Tubes here.
Thanks, Spence.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hey, Spencer, in the last 3 games, you guys have given up 17, 24, and 19 points. And even 5 games ago, it was the 3 points. How much do you look at I mean, I know this sounds like a dumb question, but how much do you look at the ultimate goal of scoring points, and how satisfied are you in terms of just giving up points so far this season?
No, good question, Mike. I mean, obviously as a defensive coach, you don't want to give up any, that's obviously the goal. And a lot of the times we've given up, whatever points it might be, it's either mistakes by us or things that we got to do better as a staff to coach our guys up. So that comes from a lot of different ways, but to answer your question, obviously you don't like giving up any points. And so if there's not a number for me where it's like, hey, 14 is kind of the deal for us. Obviously we want to be as stingy as we can. If that means 0, if that means whatever it means to win the football game, first and foremost, what we're going to do, because that's what we're out there trying to get done for our entire team. But we just got to keep taking steps as a defense because there's a lot we can clean up. There's a lot of things we need to grow in, and as a staff and with our players, I mean, it's obvious that there's times that we can be operating at a very high level and do some really good things. And there's snaps and series where we're not. And so we just got to be more consistent to where we can continually start to grow and get our guys to hopefully take more points off the board.
How much better, and I know it was better last weekend, but how much better can this defense be if you can get off the field on 3rd down? That seems like it's still an inconsistent struggle.
Yeah, no, it's huge. I mean, and you look at this past weekend, Colorado State's offense was 5 of 15 on 3rd down. So the 5 conversions, they had 4 of them in the first 2 drives. So after that, the guys did a really good job. So in critical moments, it shows up. I mean, it's winning those money that we call money downs, winning those money downs and winning in the red zone are huge situations for defense. And if you succeed in those, you're usually going to have a pretty good game and you're usually going to win the game if you succeed in those. And so I think we've taken steps. Obviously, there's a couple third downs that converted, a couple of the QB draws that we need to play way better and we should have. But we did take steps, and holding them to 5 of 15 on third down was good. But there's obviously a lot of growth we can have there, and we need to going forward, especially with Fresno State. They've got the weapons to convert, and they've done a great job on third down this year. And so our work's gonna be cut out for us.
Spence.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, Spence, appreciate the time. Best of luck this week.
Appreciate it, guys. Always a pleasure seeing you. Praying for you, Will.